Hey! Uh-oh, let it adjust. Is it adjusting? It ain't adjusting. There it goes. Hey, what's up? Let's hop right in. No time to waste. Let's get it. Let's go.
What do the American people think? Two polls out today, a CNN poll, a CBS poll, both show that pretty large majorities oppose the United States bombing Iran. Okay, 56% disapprove, 44% approve. Basically identical results in these polls. Not a whole lot of things right now get results like that, and it's pretty clear where they stand.
That probably also includes a lot of Republicans who voted for Donald Trump because he promised not to wage World War III, not to get us involved in foreign wars and forever wars.
What do y'all think? Seems like it's almost half. Should he have done that? And did he set the tone for something more negative in the future? Let's continue.
Look, we can debate the history, but we are where we are, right? And so I would feel a lot better because all of us around this table are old enough to have lived through a point in American history where we went to war and where foreign policy and military action was taken based on inaccurate, either purposefully or inaccurate or negligently inaccurate information about weapons of mass destruction. I think it is important at this point for the President of the United States to be accurate, to be transparent, and to be deliberate. And yes, I know that bragging, exaggerating, bluster, and lying is part of Donald Trump's brand and his persona, but the American people and also the members of Congress who were supposed to get briefed today, and that briefing got canceled at the last minute, deserve transparency and deserve to know exactly what is happening here and what comes next.
Is anyone going to talk about the fact that there's a ceasefire? Is anyone going to bring up the fact that that Iran and Israel are not bombing each other as we speak? Is that not a victory?
Arthur, it is a very good question.
That's going on right
Arthur,
now?
it is a very good question. I think people have been wondering why Iran reacted the way that it did to the strikes from over the weekend. Why did they telegraph to the United States that they were going to send missiles to those bases, that base in Qatar? And I think that some people are asking tonight whether one of the reasons is because they know that what's underneath Fordo and these other nuclear sites isn't completely eliminated.
No, that's because they don't want any more bunker buster bombs dropped on Iran.
Exactly.
You know who said that MOP, the massive ordnance penetration, you know who said that was going to be the #1 deterrent to nuclear Iran? Chuck Schumer. And he said it when Barack Obama was president. He developed it.
Is that true? Is it actually true that it is the #1 deterrent? Because look, and I want to be clear, this assessment that we're
facts, because if I was Iran, I would accelerate the process at this point now. It's like, okay, now we got to get a nuclear weapon to get these people to back off. That's literally why a lot of countries have nuclear weapons, is to protect themselves from other countries that have them as well, or okay, try to take over them, or do what Israel did.
We're
defense mechanism.
It's preliminary. It will be added to by other intelligence agencies. There will be disagreement, as there often is, as you know, I know you know very well. So I don't want people to think this is the Bible, okay? It's not. But at the same time, is it not likely that Iran has already moved the enriched uranium, could just restart this whole thing in a year?
This is not a story about one bomb. Iran's capabilities have been massively degraded over the last year and a half. Israel has done a remarkable job of destroying multiple armies, full armies. Israel has absorbed 28,000 rocket attacks, and this little David has defeated this massive Goliath, and that opened this opportunity for the United States. And yes, there is a sordid history, but the United States, since 1945, has basically guaranteed and overseen the greatest period of peace and prosperity in the world relative to all other points in human history. And the United States is
the Goliath is the United States. The United States did not start.
Versus Iran.
Did not. No, hold on.
The murders of Tehran.
First of all, one moment. Two nuclear powers, the United States and Israel, bombed a non-nuclear power, which under the Obama administration signed a deal to decrease their enrichment of uranium. They signed that deal under President Obama. Donald Trump came along, abrogated, and ended that agreement such that they could begin enriching again. And Joe Biden came along, did not put the agreement back in place. Iran has been outside of that agreement since President Trump's first term. Did they in that time build a nuclear weapon? They did not. The 16 intelligence agencies...
So if they're building a nuclear weapon, it was Trump's fucking fault because Obama signed a deal to where they wouldn't build it. Now they're building it again because Trump got rid of that deal because he was trying to remove everything from Obama, and they restarted the process.
Assess this for a living. It is their only job. Have already concluded that they were not attempting to... Wait, no. One other question.
Hold on 1 second, just a second, because Jamie, I'm curious about this. Yeah. What she just said was that since Iran is outside of the nuclear deal that Trump got out of, were they able to build a nuclear weapon in that time?
Yes, so the answer,
eight plus years.
Do they have a nuclear bomb now? Probably not. But here's what happened. As part of that deal, they were giving money
the reason I'm asking,
all these
I know, I understand that. I just want to be clear, because I think the point that she's making is that in that time, Iran has not actually, at that time, the talk was that they were weeks away, months away from building a nuclear weapon. We're 8 years later,
they've been weeks away since the 90s.
On May the 31st, the International Atomic Energy Association censured Iran for being out of compliance. They say they've not been truthful. They say they have undeclared nuclear material. They have nuclear material that's enriched to 60%.
But
why do they do that, Joy?
One of the questions about what the American people know and what they trust is, do we have a good understanding of where things stand in terms of Iran and a nuclear weapon? Yes. And I think to Anna's point, there's such a long history of Americans feeling misled. Yeah. I think that
being misled, not feeling.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Being misled. I think people are legitimately wondering, when you warn that this is weeks away, how true is that? And should we really be getting into a war because
we know they have uranium enriched to 60%. Which you don't need for a civilian nuclear energy program, which, by the way, they don't need a civilian nuclear energy program anyway.
In your view, so it's so arrogant to tell them what they need. They have been 2 weeks away since Bibi Netanyahu said it in 96. He said it to George W. Bush. He said it to Joe Biden. He said it to Barack Obama. He's been saying they've been 2 weeks away since 1996 when my children were infants.
Wait a minute,
So if you keep saying that they're 2 weeks away,
facts.
the bottom line...
She knows her shit.
Really wondering about this almost seems too easy, and in the same way that Donald Trump's 2 weeks to decide was a ruse, apparently, how do we not know that Iran's tepid response in sending the missiles to Qatar and telegraphing that they were doing so is also not some sort of ruse, and that this is just beyond what we are comprehending, particularly because we have a president, a secretary of defense, and an entire administration that is telling us over and over again that their capacities have been obliterated, and that seems not to be the case.
The risk there is also that it doesn't come in a conventional form, and that there's, we've heard people, Pompeo and others, warning about sleeper cells. So I mean, I think the idea that everything is all great and there's no threat to the United States.
They already have sleeper cells.
13 days of an unprecedented, successful, targeted attack degrading Iran's capabilities by Israel.
It's a miracle. Nuclear powers bombing a non-nuclear power. Do you know how I know?
It's a strategic triumph by the United States is so much better off.
It sounds like the Iraq War. You sound like oh my God, 2003 wants its history.
I want to go back. Right now we
Brad has been wanting to get in. Brad, go ahead.
Joy asked a question earlier. She said, you allege that the United States has not been attacked by Iran. Iran backed militias that attacked United States forces 170 times in Syria, in Jordan, and in Iraq. You know who said that? Joe Biden said that. That's why he authorized F-15 strikes against Iran.
But by the way, Joe Biden is the same president who has allowed Israel in an unrestrained manner to slaughter Palestinians in Gaza. So I'm not sure that Joe Biden is who I'm looking at. I'm not sure Joe Biden is who I'm going to for the moral authority here.
That girl knew her shit. She was on it. She was like, I ain't on neither side. I ain't going for Trump and I ain't going for Biden. But I will tell you this. This what happened. That's what happened. That's the girl you need to listen to because that's the one who's going to be the most honest with you about everything going on. You want to listen to the person who's not biased, who's not trying to win votes or whatever by anybody, but is just trying to like say, this is what the fuck I see that's going on. Anyways, y'all, I'm out. Peace.